Everything hurts and I'm dying. Why? Because I'm shooting this vlog around the same time that I try to finish work every day, and I still have a lot of work to do, but all of that doesn't matter because what is this? What is this happening right now? It's time for Max's writing vlogs, where I talk about my writing process for the last couple of days, along with giving you my word counts and stats. It's been an interesting day. I had the first writing session of the new book today, so we're going to be talking about that and about a bunch of other things because starting stories is very, very, very interesting. So let's take it from the top. I meant to start writing this story on Monday, that being, actually on Tuesday, that being yesterday, but I was having issues with the planning. And if you follow me on Twitter, you heard about this. I was a little worried about using the anime format. Basically, as I mentioned in the previous video, I'm writing this new book as though I'm writing an OVA or a series of a segment of serialized anime episodes, where each collection of chapters represents an episode of an anime. And I began coming into this and I was like, am I gonna make it 6? Am I gonna make it 12? Like, there are divides here. And the first thing that I realized is that, as always, I was giving myself phantom rules. And one of those things, and probably one of the best things about writing is that there are no rules. There are only guidelines. And I realized, while anime is limited to 6 or 12 episode segments or something in between depending on the nature of the animation itself, I can do as many as I want. I could have 7 episodes, I could have 9, I could have 10. I could have as many as I want. So when I first stopped and I thought about the problem that was before me, I realized it's not really a problem, it's just an issue of judgment, an issue that I had given myself based on what I wanted to make, and I realized that wasn't a limitation. And really, ultimately, I'm not really making an anime, I'm writing something that is anime-inspired, so I don't think anyone is gonna yell at me because, this is gonna have like 7 pseudo episodes. I don't think so, that's just silly. I don't really expect anyone to understand what I'm actually doing with this unless they're really paying attention or they've seen these vlogs. A lot of this stuff is behind the scenes that a lot of people don't ultimately end up noticing. And that's not a problem, because I'm not really like, have you noticed that this is anime inspired? Nah, man. I'm there to tell a story, to share your story, and that's ultimately the main key that is driving all of the things that I do. I just want to share with you a story. I actually wrote this in the list. I was like, first talk about how I said fuck it and I can do whatever I want. That was literally on the list. Now that's done. What is the other thing that happened? Today's writing session was, excuse the expression, Max said after dropping the F word. Today's session was ridiculously long. Like today's session was just too damn long, and it took forever. Like, I finished writing around the same time that I generally finish, shooting these videos. Like, I was way behind on my workload today, and that was because that session went on for too long. It went for too long. And just really quickly, my stats, just to get those damn things out of the way. My stats for day 1, I wrote 4,817 words. Basically, the first two pseudo chapters of this book. I hate not finishing chapters. I hate leaving them in the middle because I feel that I lose part of the thing that drove me to make them. So it's weird. I do always shoot to finish chapters. Even if one of these chapters felt like it went long, it was interesting. I'll talk about that in a moment though. The first thing that I want to talk about is the one thing that people don't usually talk about this. And I guess it's because they worry about stuff, I guess. But the idea is that, don't mind me just shuffling cards as we do things. Every story is different. Every story you write is different. Every story is its own independent and different monster. Every book is different. And the struggle for me is always the beginning and shifting into the mind of a new narrator. I was so used and so set on Hier's narration. Well, Hier doesn't narrate the previous book that I wrote, but her mind and the way that the story is connected directly to her mind and the way that she plays with the narrator, I was so into that. I was so still in that mindset. And it was almost like, I don't want to, it's like doing a magic trick and having to start doing another magic trick. Or wait, I have a better one. It's like you do a magic trick, and you do this magic trick for half a month, non-stop, all the time. And then suddenly, you have to start doing a new magic trick, non-stop, all the time. And I was like, juggling. I was juggling as I began writing. And I was like, okay, now I have to start balancing plates. And it was a sort of thing where I broke a couple of plates within the metaphor that I'm creating for you, because I was getting into the new mode. I think I spent like a good while on the first sentence, not because I didn't know how to start the story, but because I didn't know how the narrator of this story would begin telling this story. So I tried a couple of things, and I was beating around the bush, and I was like, and I would do the thing where like I would write a paragraph, and I would be like, this is not the right one. I would write another paragraph, and I would be like, this is close. Don't mind me just scratching my eye. This is closer, but it's not the right one yet. And it's less of the act of cutting and rewriting until I got the right one, but more the idea of digging. I was digging for the right first line, and I was digging for that first line that really began the story. And it wasn't what I was looking for. I thought the first line would be something that I had thought of earlier, and when I wrote that, I was like, nah, this is not it. This is not right. And I decided to let one of the characters take it away, and I'm like, let's focus on this character. How would the story begin if I focused it on her? And it was actually way more effective and way more fun. It's weird because even though I did like minimal planning and I created the smallest mental image of my characters, they still immediately broke whatever little mold I gave them. Oh, and God, okay, I better keep this in mind. Okay. This is something that I picked up from Kitty. Sia, or Saya, I don't even know how to pronounce her name. The main character from the point of view of the Makino, which is one of the tribes. She is the center focus character for the Makino. She literally is the Makino. Spoilers. I thought that she would be a lot older when I first imagined her, and she's actually more of a teenager, which I'm entirely okay with. I'm entirely fine with that. I'm entirely okay with it. No problem here. But it was just a sort of thing where my mental image had to like morph into her actual self, and I was like, you're a lot younger than I expected. That's actually entirely fine. No problem with this. And there's like 3 subjects that I want to talk about. The other thing, and this is the thought that I was holding in my hand, as though I'm Cyclops about to, just tear things in half. Optic blast. There's like 3 million jokes that I can make following that, but I won't. Photon cannon. I'm sorry. Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I'm gonna take you for a ride. I'm gonna take you for a ride. Do I have Capcom? Do I have? Yes, I do! No, that's not the right song. That's AKB004 Yeah! Alright! Okay. What was I talking about? By the way, that is the character selection screen from Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Only 90s kids will remember that. Actually, why would only 90s kids? Like, that's still available. It's a game on PSN. Why wouldn't everybody know about Marvel vs. Capcom 2? Really good game. Well, is it really a good game, or is it because it was around my time and it was around for a long time? It's this sort of thing where like people talk about particular games through rose-tinted glasses, and they're like, dude, the music for the original Halo is so good, you guys. And I'm like, is it really good? Or is it because you have had like 10 years to fall in love with it and idolize it that it's actually good, It's the sort of thing where like you actually have to stop and be like, do I love all of the music from Final Fantasy IX? Not really. There's some of it that I like because of nostalgia. There's some of it that I like because of the emotions that I attach to certain things. And there are some songs that I just like objectively. Melodies of Life is an amazing freaking song. Eternal Harvest, the piano version of Eternal Harvest, still gets my blood pumping and I get tingles all over my head. And it's just a really actually emotional and fast song. I want to make a playlist on 8-Tracks that it's nothing but songs to get you to type faster, and I'm talking about songs with like really high BPM, that is beats per minute. And look up Eternal Harvest piano version, and you would see how fast that freaking types. The other song that I would have on that playlist would be the piano version of Final Fantasy VII's battle theme as it appeared on Advent Children. I could just look it up right now. Advent. There you go. It's like the only song I like. It's Those Who Fight, piano version. Anyways, go look it up. Those Who Fight, piano version from Advent Children. Really high BPM. Piano songs are just really good for typing, if you ask me, because it gets you into the, I feel that a part of me tries to type at the same speed that the song is coming to me, and it's almost like a pseudo mental game of like that one Worm game by the guys who did Peggle, and also like Guitar Hero, because you're like tapping at the same speed, but you're also filling in your own thoughts. I don't know, it's really awesome. I love songs with high BPMs. I should totally make that playlist. I don't think it would be popular at all. I don't think anyone but me would like it, but do I need any more reason though? I don't think so. If I like it, that's all that matters. Anyways, what was I talking about like 9 million years ago? Marvel vs. Capcom 2, AKB 0048. Yes, the one thing that I like about this freaking book the most, and it is the one thing that I love the most, and it's kind of ridiculous how I began writing the first chapter. And from the very first chapter, which is a really short chapter, I was like, I'm giving you a focus character, and that is automatically going to color your view of this world. It's gonna make you think that one person here is good and the other is bad. And I'm like, from the very get-go, I want to start disarming, well, not disarming, but overarming all of that. Because this story is gonna jump back and forth between two different tribes, and there's no good and evil here. It's just people making choices, and that's the meat and potatoes of my writing style. That's the meat and potatoes of the things that I love. And yeah, and it's funny because I get questions sometimes, and I see posts sometimes, and they literally make me cringe, because it's like, what's wrong with just writing someone who's evil? And literally my entire spine just twitches, and I snap my lower back, because it makes me angry, because there's no such thing as evil. It's silly. It's ridiculous. There's no such thing as good or evil. There's only power. And that is where that quote ends. People are like, but the rest of that quote is, and those willing to take it. And I'm like, no. J.K. Rowling screwed up the rest of that quote. There's literally only power. And what people do with it is up to them. And this story deals a lot with the concept of power, especially when you put it in the hands of people. And the consequences of that, and also, I think, right now I'm still right at the thing, don't quote me on this, don't quote me on this, quote me on me saying don't quote me, M. Kieran 2016, I guess, and it's been really interesting writing this new book, because one, I had to get into this new mind frame, and two, characters immediately, like, well, they didn't change, but they came to be into their own form. And it's really interesting. I guess, like, if you want, like, a mental... No, actually, I shouldn't tell you. I was gonna give you, like, a mental image, but even that mental image is, like, incorrect, so I better not even bother. Anyways, again, what do I keep talking about? I keep talking about the idea of just letting go of control. It's not really a matter of just, like, whatever happens, but rather, the story is always right. And don't question the story. I'm like, I thought this character was gonna be in their middle 20s. Oh, they're actually a teenager. Then I was wrong. It turns out that I was wrong and my outline was wrong. And it's funny because I actually didn't write her age on the pseudo character outline. Because it's literally just a paragraph. Do I even have it? Can I bring it up? Is it spoilerific? Let's check. If it's spoilerific, I won't read it. The humanity that remains. Character brainstorm. Where the hell is it? Wow, it literally is like just one paragraph. The Chosen One, pilot of the Machino. Her name is Saya. Female, chin length, strawberry blonde hair. That's not even true anymore. Sharp chin, peaceful face, hides things. Has a daughter, or is it a sister? Question mark. This is how I outline things, you guys. There's someone young they look after. There you go. That's all I knew about Saya. That's all I knew about Sia. Let's say it's Sia, because I don't really see myself pronouncing it as Saya. It's Sia. Zia with the Z. That's how I outline, by the way. I'm literally just brainstorming, and it's funny, and this is a little vulgar, but I'm just gonna say it. Whenever I have files about brainstorming, I compress the word brainstorming into BS, which stands for babysitter. Don't worry about it. But that's really how I feel about it. And people don't like to hear that, but it's like, it literally is BSing. You're just filling things out and just letting them search through you. I don't think there's any like technique behind it. I was literally just like picturing the character in my mind, thinking about her, and I was like, what do I know about her? Well, half of these facts are wrong, and by the way, she doesn't have a daughter, she has a sister. Acnea of the Machino. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting getting into this new process, and also the clear idea that because I'm showing you their point of view first, you're going to automatically assume that the other side is bad and evil, and then I get to show you their side, and then it becomes this thing of like, who's lying? Who is lying? You know, did Godric Gryffindor steal the sword of Gryffindor from the goblins? You're never gonna find out. It's weird, you know. How do you know? How does one really do know? And my phone just reminded me of something. That this video has gone on for way too long. But you know, what's today's lesson of the day? What's today's lesson of the day? I don't think it's letting go of control, because, you know, let it go, let it go. Nah, we all know that song. It's not about that. I think today's writing lesson is more around the idea of giving things time, because there was a point in which, oh, and also sorting out your priorities. There was a point when I was in the middle of writing, and I was like in hour 3 of writing, and I was like, you know, that little annoying voice in the back of your head, that little perfectionist, or as we like to know it, fear, was like, is this good? And then, of course, the rest of me was like, of course it's good, it's amazing, I made it, and that's all that we care about. But it was, you know, it came out, and I was asking myself later in my break, I was like, why did that happen? And it had nothing to do with the writing. It was because I had been writing for way too long, and I was thinking about all the work that I needed to do, and that little internal part of fear in me was like, if we just drop this project, we should be able to get those videos done, and then, you know, be able to actually have some time off at the end of the day. And I'm like, the writing comes first, man, woman, and or non-binary person in my head. The writing comes first. Always the writing comes first. The writing is the most important part of my profession, so I gotta give it time. It's funny because today I wanted to write like 3K. Just really easy 3K. Nearly wrote 5K. That's my life. Hashtag the life of Max. The life of an author, I guess. But yeah, today's lesson of the day is very simple. Give things time and push through the dumb. I think somebody posted a really, really good comment on my overcoming the perfectionist video. And it was actually a really good idea. It's the idea of like, if you think your story is dumb, write through the dumb. Write through the dumb until, you start recognizing your new story, because I was in a new mindset. I was in a new world, a new set of characters, and it was a sort of thing where I was like, I was slightly afraid and slightly worried. Because it was new. It was new and unknown, and it is the fear of the unknown that is like the worst thing. And ultimately becomes a lot about just rolling with the punches, fitting in, and seeing what works. With all those things out of the way, yeah, that's this writing lesson. And I wanna know how you've been doing. Forget about NaNoWriMo. Just let me know about your writing process. I know that this is like the end of the month, and it's kind of the hardest part of the entire month. So I wanna know how you've been doing, and remember to keep writing, keep creating content, keep doing the things that excite you artistically, because those are the things that ultimately make you happy and inspire you to keep going and keep improving on your craft. And don't stop. Even if you have to take a break or life gets in the way, keep doing your thing. Keep doing the thing that makes you happy. And you have my permission, you have my license to go out and seek the thing that excites you the most, because that is you. It's your thing. It's the thing that excites you and makes you happy, and you should not be denied of that. Absolutely not. But with all those things out of the way, I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for spending a little bit of your day with me. Like, subscribe, do all the socially related things. And since I haven't already played enough songs to get this video flagged, let's try, let's listen to that, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 theme one more time. Wrong song. Whoops.